ToonTrack have produced a collection of Midi Packs available for use within the EZkeys line. They span a fairly broad range of musical genres, including blues, funk, gospel, jazz, R&B, and also country. So that you get an idea of how these work and what they sound like, I'm going to bring you through the process of adding very easily and quickly some basic patterns into the MIDI sequence timeline. Beginning with the funk library, we'll just go ahead and choose straight 4/4. Up at the top, to keep things simple, we'll choose the Marquee 87 intro variation 3, and drag that down into our MIDI sequence timeline. By the way, folks, variations 1 and 2 tend to be more Spartan and are very appropriate for sitting in a mix where you just want the keys to play some rhythmic chords without too many embellishments. If, however, you need the keys to be a little bit more front, forward, and center stage, then perhaps you will want to consider using variations 3 and 4 or higher if available. For the most part, I find the middle ground variation 3 to be very nice. It's not too busy, and yet it's not boring. So now that we have a variation of the intro, let's go ahead and also select a verse pattern, drag that down into our timeline, and demo this one. And methinks that this would sound even better if we were using the Electric Mark I. So with the Electric Mark I loaded, let's go ahead and close the MIDI browser window. Make sure that we're using a good preset. I like to add a bit of extra bite. Relax the bass a little bit. Let's play this back. Ah, there you go. There's the sound you're looking for. We have phase and wah. Let's take a listen. Very cool 70s funk. We'll now bring up our browser MIDI window. I'm going to load a different piano sample. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Stick and stay, don't hit that back button. I now have the beautiful grand piano loaded back up. I've selected the gospel category, the gospel MIDI pack, swing 6/8 time, an intro, again my favorite, variation 3. Drag this down to the timeline. Let me expand that a little bit. And we'll skip verse, go directly to pre-chorus. I'll add variation 4 just to be different. And let's take a listen, folks. So that doesn't make as much musical sense to me as I would like to hear. So from the intro, I will add a verse. And then we'll go into this pre-chorus. Let's take a listen to this. The sound of this Steinway Model D piano sample library sounds amazing for this gospel music. And you see there, the transition between the verse into the pre-chorus makes a whole lot more musical sense. It's a much smoother musical transition. Add a C chord at the end just so that it resolves. Change this to a C. I always like C add 9s. And some extra velocity on the end. Rather than that being just a plain chord, let's come up here, single chords, rolling chords, and apply that. And take a listen. Okay, let's clean out this timeline. Selecting all of them, right-click, choose Remove, and our timeline is now clear. We'll set our cursor back to the beginning of measure 1. Select Jazz, maybe swing 4/4 for a change. Ballads Jazz, A, Intro A, B, and Endings. Let's select Intro. Something nice, soft, and subdued. Come to Variation 1. Look for a variation here. And Variation 5 is nice. Relatively Spartan, but it leaves lots of room for movement, especially if we had some brushes in the background, a nice brush jazz trap kit, and upright acoustic bass. And we'll come to B, select something with a little more oomph. Variation 7 is nice, bring a little more life to the music. And select an ending. I guesstimate that as we come down here towards the bottom, we'll find something nice. And let's demo it. And we are using the beautiful EZkeys grand piano. I'll be honest, folks, I really enjoy just looking at this piano. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Moving along, let's go into the R&B category. We'll load up the electric 200A. Let's try some swing this time. They sound great. And as before, we'll clear our timeline and start dragging down some new variations. Oh, that one's nice. Add a verse. I usually like variation number 3. Just to mix it up a little, we'll also add variation number 4. Add a chorus. And a bridge. And resolve it finally with a root chord. F minor, add 9. Actually, you know what might sound even better? There we go. And let's demo this, shall we? Man, oh man, ToonTrack have so carefully sampled the original instruments. Again, I own quite a few sample libraries and virtual instruments. I'm a huge electric pianos addict, and I have to admit that these that have been produced by ToonTrack are some of my very favorites and are quickly becoming my top shelf go-to reach for collection of instruments. We have some beautiful sounds here, folks. By the way, if you would like for your samples to all be repeated, make sure that you have the repeat looping button enabled. Come back to the beginning and play. This is very handy when, in this situation like we are doing together right now, we're cycling through the various presets. I'll be honest with you, the Classic is actually my favorite instrument patch of the entire Electric 200A sample library. I do wish that the tremolo were included with this. And DI is very nice. can compensate for the mellow sound by increasing the soft note up to its maximum. Just remember, you can't keep it up there at its maximum if you're using a different patch or a different sample library. I'm Brother Charles of Reviewers Revival, and you've been watching and listening to the EZkeys Essential Pianos collection available from ToonTrack. I strongly recommend this collection of piano samples. Until next time, thanks and God bless. So long for now.